everyone, it's Anthony back with another video here on Single and Placing. Hi. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day, weekday, weekend, week, month, evening, overnight, morning, all that good stuff. We are doing, I think it's going to be a vlog. We're in the car and we're going to the dog park. You know the drill. I was going to try to sneak in some stuff about my cross-stitch conversion project, but depending on time, we'll see. I might just try to make this a relatively shorter vlog and just do it on its own. I actually recorded an entire full-length cross-stitch conversion update video, but I tried to use my action camera and it didn't like to zoom. So when I pulled up the footage to review it, it was all super blurry. You couldn't see anything. So I'm gonna have to redo that video, and I've just been not very motivated to do that. So I just haven't done it. So I really need to redo that. And in my head, I was like, oh, I'll just briefly talk about it in my next vlog recording. But it does deserve its own video, and I had enough to talk about to do a whole video. It's just the picture was just not usable. It was just really blurry. So now I know to just go back to using my phone, which is fine. I just have to make sure that those clips aren't super long. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Let me know in the comments what's new with you. I don't know when this will go up at all. I am several weeks kind of ahead at the time of filming this with my vlog. Sorry about that. Camera fell out of the holster. I do need to just get a new one of these. I've had this for so long. Anyway, yeah, I've just been filming vlogs not vlogs on the weekends, but I filmed like 2 or 3 of them one weekend. And then I filmed one for Apollo's birthday and maybe another one since then. I'm not sure. And now this one. So, and I've been wanting to just do vlogs once a week. So I've got them booked out for a little while. So I'm not sure when you'll see this. Just know that you might always be a couple weeks behind as far as what's actively going on with me because of just how these are being filmed. But yeah, just kind of living life, doing our thing. Apollo had a good birthday. And now he's just being extra ornery. Not necessarily, not any more than usual, but we have been developing this routine of me running with him pretty much every single day. And we average 3 miles. Sometimes we go as high as 5, but I've been trying to run him around the lake every single day, take him for walks, try to get those miles in and get some more energy out. But it's almost like it revs him up even more. Nothing tires this dog out unless we go on a 5-mile hike where he's off leash, or I'm sure if I ran and walked and jogged him 6 miles, that would start to kind of hit that same amount of energy released. But now he's so used to it that I can't get a word in edgewise when I get home, or when 2-3 o'clock rolls around. He's like, let's go, it's time to go. And so I wanted to get a couple things done before we left today. So it's already 5 o'clock and I had to fight him every minute of the way and keep him distracted with his toys and stuff while I was trying to get laundry done and trying to boil some eggs for him, because I've been we'll talk about his food, but put some egg in his bowl. And so I was boiling eggs. I was like, I want to get all this stuff done before tonight so I can sit down and diamond paint, because I didn't diamond paint at all yesterday, only for, at the time of filming this, only for maybe 20 minutes the day before. Just life stuff's going on. And so I was like, I want to get a section done on this cross-stitch conversion. I've been staring at the same area for now the 3rd day. And my apologies, I'm super shiny. I've got a lot of sunscreen on because, well, obviously. So I put it on and I was like, ooh, this makes me look really glossy, but I do not care. I'd rather be protected than pretty, I guess. and being protected will keep me pretty longer. um, so, so yeah, let me put this down. Sorry. So yeah, I just haven't really had time to diamond paint, but he is on this schedule now of when I get home or if I work from home right around 3 o'clock, he's like, put your shoes on, let's go. And so, which it's good, but he's got so much freaking energy. It pushes me to my edge of like being able to keep up with him. And I'm like, did I make the right choice here? But it is a good thing. It's keeping me active. It's keeping me getting outdoors. And I've said it before, it is nice overall, but like when I want to do other things, it gets in the way a little bit. So I'm just going to be continuing to adjust as far as like the content creation side of time and painting. Just continuing to adjust to fit, and hopefully these videos still continue to keep you company and you like hearing the updates and stuff, because I haven't filmed a whip and chat. Well, other than my attempt to do that cross-stitch conversion update, I haven't done like an actual whip and chat I don't remember when my last one was, but these are whip and chats, essentially. I'm giving you all my life updates. We're talking about all the diamond painting things. We're talking about events. Like we're covering all the topics. It's just that I'm not sitting in front of the table. So I hope that works for you, because when I'm diamond painting, like it's literally just kind of sneak it in when I can now. Sneak it in when I can. Try to get as much done in that time. Try to be as efficient as possible in that time. But even the prospect of like, okay, set up the camera and do a time lapse. It's like, even just setting all that up and then needing to upload that onto my hard drive and save it for future use. It's just like, that's 15 minutes out of the 30 minutes that I had to diamond paint, So it'll just ebb and flow. Some weeks, some days I'll have time to do all that stuff. Other weeks, other months, it's just not going to happen. So I hope you like what is here, and I will give you as much as I can. But priorities have shifted a little bit, and I've been wanting to, be a little bit more conscious about getting healthier and making sure Apollo gets the energy out and the exercise that he needs. And that just leads to me not being behind the table as often. So, but I think that's okay. We'll see. I need to brainstorm some other ideas for some more content that I can kind of squeeze out of what I am doing right now. I was thinking, because I started getting HelloFresh again, I was like, maybe I do have time to film me making those HelloFresh videos and do some cooking videos and mix that in. That way, if someone's maybe considering doing HelloFresh, then they could potentially utilize those videos. The one thing that I did that I'm kicking myself for is when I got my new camera and I got some upgraded stuff, I had this gooseneck kind of clamp style phone holder, and I got my new tripod and stuff, and I was like, won't be needing this anymore, because it was just kind of wonky and hard to use. So I threw it away because it was just taking up space. And now that's what I used to record my videos, my cooking videos and stuff, is that clamp gooseneck thing, because I can clamp it onto the spice cabinets or whatever above the stove. And now I don't have it, so I might end up having to order another one. I totally forgot that it was kind of I kind of put it as a specific purpose item for those like cooking videos. But now that it's gone, I don't have anything that can hover like above my head like that. So I don't know, maybe I can I just don't want to try to put a tripod over a hot stove. That seems scary. So I think I'm just going to get another clamp. Can't believe I threw that out. In the moment, I was like, see you later. I upgraded. Bye. It's spring cleaning time. And now I'm like, I really wish I had that. So cooking videos. I reached out to a couple small shops to do some spotlights. So I've got one on the books for next week at the time of filming this, and it might already be up. Who knows? Um, and one other. So I'll probably keep doing that here and there too. But to be honest, I've just been like, I don't know. Anytime I'll sit down and diamond paint, of course, but like I've drastically cut back over the course of the past few weeks, like couple weeks. Just it hasn't. My priorities have kind of shifted. I also feel like I'm in a better mood. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. Um, I think some things just kind of clicked for me, or something else. Like just my mental health, I think, has just been improving as well, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm being a lot more active, and yeah, I don't know. It's hard to kind of go to dive into it without. I just never want to offend anyone who spends a lot of their time diamond painting, and so sometimes it feels awkward being like, "Oh, things have been so much better since I stopped diamond painting as much," but that's not. It's not a correlation, and it's not a blanket statement like, whatever you're struggling with, will improve if you stop diamond painting as much. That's not at all what I'm trying to say. So it's almost a little bit hard to talk about it because I'm like, I don't want to upset people. And that's not my intention. It's more of, I think I leaned on diamond painting gives me a sense of accomplishment, a sense of completing something, a sense of like forward progress on something, when maybe I'm not seeing those same things elsewhere in my life. And so I kind of feel like I might be using diamond painting as a little bit of a crutch to kind of supplement where other things are a little bit more rocky or don't feel as stable or consistent. And maybe that's the same with other crafts, other hobbies, other addictions that people have, is, they get something out of it that might be lacking in other areas. So I think for me, I'm just trying to repurpose how I use diamond painting and why. And I've also kind of learned for myself that I really love engaging with people that are watching my videos and commenting on my videos. I really love responding to those comments and getting those updates and stuff. But outside of that, I haven't really been that active or engaged from a social level as much as I was. And I almost feel like that was consuming such a large part of my time as well, is making sure I was on people's lives and all of that stuff. Like it's nice, and it's nice to have, but I almost got into this routine where I was like, okay, it's this person's hour, then this, then move to this, and then go here, and then suddenly, you've got your whole, 6 or 8 hours of just watching and listening along. And I stopped doing that, and at first I did feel a little bit bad because I'm like, well, this is kind of how I support these other content creators, is by watching their stuff. But I'm being a little bit more intentional of like, here's what I want to learn. Like I want to watch some cross stitch videos on how people do this. I'd like to know if anyone has used this particular product. So I've been a little bit more intentional about it and exposing myself to some new content creators. And then also just making sure that I'm consuming content that feeds positivity is something that I've been trying to focus on as well. And so I've really, really cut back the amount of content I've been watching as well. So, I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm kind of falling out of this craft. I don't want to go as far as to say that. I think I'm just kind of redefining how involved I am. So yeah, I don't know. And it's actually, even though that doesn't sound like a good thing, it's coming from a place of like, I'm being more active. I'm engaging with my friends and family a lot more than I had been for like months and months and months. And really making sure that I'm giving Apollo what he needs and trying to put more energy into the quality of work I provide at work and feeding those social relationships. Like, we only have a finite amount of that energy that we can give. And I think I had just spread myself a little too thin, or I was giving too much to uh, the content creation and the social aspect around this craft. And I think it was brought to my attention in a couple of different places in my life where it's like, hey, like, we're losing sight of you, and I felt like I was losing sight of myself, where I was losing myself a little bit. And so I think that by me reducing how engaged I am, just focusing on some different priorities, or at least trying to find some more balance. I think I'll be able to provide you with content that's a little bit more honest, a little bit more positive, a little bit more true to who I am, and that type of thing. So I don't know. I don't know if I was on the verge of some, like, a depression or something like that, or just was struggling, and then finding diamond painting was just like a good timing, and I just leaned really hard into it. And it might not have even been that. I think for me, it might be that I tend to go all in. When I discover something new, it's like, here's all my time, here's all my energy, here's all my money, let's do this. And then I do it and I do it. And then I get bored with it and I kind of abandon it, or I find something new and shiny to run towards. And that almost always works out okay, because most of my things and previously have either been interests that my friends have and my family has, like rock climbing, skiing, that type of thing. So those have never really been a problem. They've never really negatively impacted other parts of my life, because they involved the rest of my life. Skincare wasn't necessary. It was more monetary than anything else, because the process of washing your face and doing a routine is pretty quick, and the videos, or the content's also pretty quick. Like, my reviews were like 4 or 5 minutes. A full routine maybe would push 30 minutes, sometimes an hour was like ridiculously long for a skincare video. Like, you don't even want, like, that's not good to go that long. But with diamond painting, not only is the actual act, the craft itself, in essence, relatively isolating, but the content is more often long form. Now, I don't have a problem with that if I can film it while doing the other things I love, But if I'm looking up and it's like, to create content, to do the unboxings, the whip and chats, and to actually do the craft to show progress, and I'm spending 6 hours a night or 4 hours a night, on the weekends even longer, it's just not conducive to how I want to live my life. I don't think it's a healthy option for me. And I'm not saying that, once again, not a blanket statement. This is just, I need to recalibrate. So yeah, it's been the fact that you haven't seen as much like content as far as finishes and whip and chats and the odds and the ends, just know that is a reflection of me feeling really good. And who knows, I might have weeks where I can crank out a lot more content, I have more free time, but I'm over committing to anything. I'm over feeling guilty for not uploading something or not filming when I sit down to diamond paint. It's just, I've kind of moved past that, and I just kind of want to have some fun with this. And so a lot of that fun's going to be based off of me talking about diamond painting while I'm outside, while we're hanging out with friends. I'm going to karaoke tonight. It's, at the time of filming, it's Thursday night. And there's this divey bar in Golden that does karaoke on Thursday nights. And it's not really my scene on the weekends, like the vibe changes there. But on a Thursday night, it's a couple groups playing pool and a few of us just having a couple beers and singing, and that's really it. But on the weekends, it gets a little, it's just not, the demographic changes. So it's a Thursday night kind of hangout spot for me. So did that, and I'm trying to make dinner plans with Dom, and just, I don't know, I feel like it's hard to like describe what it like how this feeling of like manifests itself. The best I can describe is like, I feel like a little bit of a haze has kind of been lifted, or a weight's been lifted just from me, like my being. And I've just been waking up feeling more alert. I've been going to bed earlier, not feeling obligated to like push through all night, just, and not, of course those nights are going to happen, but they haven't happened in a while, and I can see the positive effects of like not diamond painting until 3 in the morning or 2 in the morning, and then having to be to work at 7. Once again, this is all personal, but I don't know. I feel like I'm experiencing like a sense of clarity. My emotions have definitely elevated, or my mood has definitely elevated, and I feel more inclined to take Apollo on a run, even if it's a quick run, like let's just go do a mile, let's just go do this real quick. And hopefully that leads to, some weight loss. I really don't have any of that identified. I just know that every minute that I'm not sitting there and instead I'm out jogging or walking or hiking, it can only be beneficial, right? I haven't set any sort of like quantifiers around any of that yet, but I'll get there. I've got some running shoes though, because my shoes that I had were like these trainers that I got, like 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I am so sorry about that. How can I can't fix that unless Apollo puts his head right there. Thank you. Nope. A little, nope. There you go. Nope. Sorry. If you're watching it, there's a glare. My apologies, but the sun's like right behind us. So yeah, my shoes, I had these trainers that were from a brand called Noble, and I ordered those. They're at least 3 years old, these shoes, and I've worn them like to death, because they eventually just became, and it's something that I will stop doing, but they eventually just became my daily around town, whatever, just put them on shoes. And I always do that. I end up buying like a purpose specific shoe, like I'm gonna get this for working out, I'm gonna get this for running, and they're so comfy that I end up just wearing them every day, and I just wear them down way faster. So when I started running and jogging again, and I'm a heavier person, I'm 216 pounds, I don't mind saying, but and I'm 5'11", yeah, so I'm a bigger guy, and so when my heel hits the ground, it started hurting. Even after just like jogging a little bit, every impact I could feel it like that shock through my heel, and then I would get shin splints really quickly. And so I was like, this isn't sustainable. Like, I'm not going to be able to make any sort of progress or, improve on how long I can run in one go if it hurts. So I went to the running store, which is it's like 2 doors down from where Apollo gets his food. And I was like, hey, I would need something with a higher level of cushion. I'm just a bigger guy, and I'm not used to running distances. So like I burn out very quickly. And he had me try on these shoes. And I tell you what, he was like, go run around the parking lot. Let me know what you think. I put on these shoes and stepped out, and I was like, I'm walking on sunshine, wow. Like it was so, I was like, why have I been forcing myself to wear these super uncomfortable shoes? It's your body, you know, and if you're gonna put it through that, you have to invest in some stuff to protect it. Like I could feel my knees hurt just from that impact. And so now I've got these Hokas, and they're not the most cushiony, they're the one in between. Um, and I've been running longer. We've been doing a little bit longer mileage each day, and I just feel like now I'm like, plus my energy's been up. I've just been really motivated to get out and exercise. Oh, it is not super busy. This is what I like to see. It's gorgeous. I'm gonna put the chest strap on so we can keep talking, but it is gorgeous. You can see a little bit of the weather maybe trying to come up over the foothills, but this sunset is incredible. Okay, Apollo. Did I bring my headlamp with me? No, I didn't. Poopy doop. I know. There's no headlamp back here. Do you see one? No. Dang it, no headlamp. That's okay. You have your light. Yes, you do. Good boy. It might get dark, so. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this and switch over to the action camera, and we'll keep talking, okay? Bye. Okie dokie. All right. You ready? You ready? Are you excited? Okay. All right, everyone. Sorry, I don't want to get my new shoes all muddy. It's probably going to be a mud fest out here, so I don't know what I'm saying. But I'm going to try to stay on some of the like pre-approved trails a little bit more than I normally do, just to avoid getting completely destroyed. But you never know. Okay, come on, let's go. But hopefully you can see the sunset right there in front of you. And we had a little bit of snow last night, but it pretty much cleared, but you can see just a little bit on the foothills. So I live pretty much straight that way, and you can see there's more snow over there. So we got a little bit more snow than they did up here. But it is chilly, but that's okay. I've got a light sweater on, a light hoodie, and I've got my undershirt on. I just want to make sure it's pulled down all the way. And I do have a hood today, so I can put my hood on. But I think that's the reason why there's not as many people out, because it was a lot warmer like 2 hours ago. So I'm sure a lot of people were able to sneak away and bring their dogs. But yeah, so here we are. Apollo, you're such a good boy. So I'm probably gonna chat, and then at a certain point I'm gonna switch over to music and finish out this video or finish out this clip with just some music and me jogging the rest of the time. I meant to tighten this strap even more in the car, but that's okay. A couple people commented that even though there is image stabilization, there's still some shakiness, which is just the nature of of these types of videos. You're on a camera that's strapped right above my belly, and every step I take is going to cause a little bit of bounce. So hold on, Apollo's going potty, and I need to grab that. So one second. Okie dokie, Smokies. Sorry. He's really good about going potty right as we start, like within the first couple minutes of our walk. So that usually means that I can grab it and run it back to the trash can rather than being, a mile out. So I appreciate that, Apollo. Let's let you off. Ba-ba. I thought there was a guy coming, but looks like not. Hey. Easy.
He's pretty riled up today, so we'll see how good he listens. But yeah, we're here at the place we're always at. Come on, this way. Let's go. But since we were talking about Apollo's poop, he has been still struggling with eating as much as I'd like him to, given his size and activity level. Like you've heard, he was on 3 cups of food a day, and now I'm lucky if I can get him to eat 2. But we've made some adjustments to how he has his food, so I don't force him to eat, or I mean, I was never forcing him, but I don't freak out if he doesn't eat breakfast, which he rarely does now. So I usually get up, let him out to go potty, and then while he's outside, I will fill his bowl with, with his kibble. With his kibble, and that is, and now I just put it all in there. So I put his 2.5 cups is what I cut it back down to, because I was just doing a little bit of research on the food that I've been feeding him, and it's very nutrient dense, so he actually doesn't need as much as the Essence food. Carnivore is a little bit more nutrient dense, so 2.5 cups go in the bowl, so his whole day's worth right in there. And then I just have to, then I don't have to think about, wait, did he have breakfast? How much of it did he eat? How much of this did he eat? That's about 3/4, so it's all in there. So I just need to make sure by the end of the day, before I tuck his little butt in, that bowl is empty. And so he'll nibble at it. The other thing that we do is we've been playing a lot of games with his food. So almost using it as treats. So we use his food as treats to do sit, lay down, shake, jump up, stay, and his food is the treats. So we've been doing that. And then he has a little, come here, let's go. We have a little table game that he has, or a little floor game. So it's like a puzzle, and he has to slide these little plastic pieces around to get to the 2 or 3 pieces of kibble that are in it. And so I can get a decent amount of food in that game, and he'll eat it all up because he has to solve the puzzle to get the treats. So we've been doing that, and then we've just been playing catch with his food. So I'll just be sitting on the couch, and I'll have a handful of his food, and I'll just throw it and try to get him to catch it in different ways, do fastballs, get him to jump up. So that's how we've been doing it, is he eats his food through play, or he eats it just kind of nibbling on it. He'll just sneak over there and grab a couple bites and come back. But it just makes it easier for me to just put his entire day's worth of food in the bowl, and because I know he's not going to sit there and just chow down on all of it, and just make sure it's gone, because I was struggling with remembering how much he ate, how much he didn't eat, how much should I give him this time or try to convince him to eat this time. So we're just taking a different approach, and it's just a lot less stressful, because I know that as long as that bowl's empty, then we've done our job. And so I've also been giving him just some extra stuff to bulk out those meals, entice him to eat a little bit more. And so I went to the store yesterday and got some catfish that had already been skinned and deboned. And of course I went through and checked for bones, and there was actually one piece that had a couple bones still in it that I cut out. But it's de-skinned, deboned, quote unquote. And then I just steamed that. I was doing a lot of research on raw, and you're gonna be able to find whatever confirmation that you're looking for. So I try to keep an open mind, but at first I was watching all these videos of all these people with huskies and Malamutes that were just like, we've been feeding raw and it cured my dog's cancer and it did this and it did that, and now we're just living in our luxury tiny house out in the middle of the mountains and just walking in the snow all day, and life's absolutely perfect. And a lot of that, a lot of those, like, it's a lifestyle, and if you really care about your dog, you'll consider it. A lot of that. So I was like doing all this research, figuring out, okay, how much selenium is in beef liver and how much will I need based on Apollo's weight. And I had written out these charts and figured out exactly how many ounces of bone, meaty bone, secreting organs, muscle tissue that I would need for Apollo. And there's all these ratios of like 80, 10, 5, 5, and all this stuff. So I was doing all this research, trying to figure it out. And then they're like, but you're still not going to be able to get all of that from just the protein, so you're going to have to turn to supplements. And so it's like, now you need kelp powder, now you need this vitamin, now you need that vitamin, now you need this and that. And it's exactly what I was worried about, is I don't want to become an at-home chemist and nutritionist for my dog. I am nowhere near qualified to do that. And I trust scientists and I trust companies that hire scientists to help them formulate their food to keep dogs alive. I'm not that person, and I don't want to pretend to be that person. So I started to get freaked out when they started incorporating all these different supplements and things to help balance things out. And it's like, that's what I'm trying to avoid. Like, I want everything to come from the foods that I provide for him. And so I landed on, and then of course I watched these other videos that were done by, it's a veterinary neurosurgeon and then a veterinary nutritionalist. And they're like, raw food is so incredibly dangerous. The main reason it's dangerous is not for your dog necessarily, but for public health. You know, if your dog's eating a bunch of raw chicken and has his mouth all covered in chicken juices, and then you take him to the park and he's licking all these little kids, or an elderly person whose immune system is compromised, you could be putting that person at risk from getting salmonella poisoning or E. coli, all that stuff. And granted, most dogs have certain traces of salmonella, those types of things in their dietary tract anyway, so that feces, if you don't pick up your dog's poop, could be a public safety hazard. And it's all a sliding scale. You know, I don't take Apollo out to nursing homes and preschools all day, you know. He pretty much just sticks with me. But I also have to be safe too. Like, I do get grossed out when he's gnawing on his raw bone and he comes to lick me. I'll go wash and be like, don't touch me while you've got raw bone around your mouth. Let's go get you some water. Let's wash this up, because I don't want to get sick. And I warn my friends that too. Like, if I have someone come over, Apollo, stay. And he's been eating a raw bone. Hey, stay. Apollo, hey, stay. What the heck was that? Oh, this dog's coming up towards us. I thought it was walking away. And it looks like the kind of dog that'll just come on over. My goodness. Oh, it ran the other way. That's nice. I feel like people think that I like keep Apollo in this little bubble, and I kind of do, but I just like to be careful. I like approved consensual interactions with other dogs. So, yeah. And the fact that there's not even a leash to leash the dog up with is interesting. This way. Come on. Apollo's like wants to investigate. He's giving me cement puppy legs where he just like locks onto the ground. It's like, we're not moving. Like, oh sir, but we are. You might be 81 pounds, but I can still pull you to where I need you to go. So anyway, So yeah, I was watching this other video that was like the truth about raw feeding, and their biggest thing was just the bacteria, the cross-contamination, especially if your dog is the type of dog that likes to pick up their food and take it somewhere else. That can be really gross. If your dog's dragging raw chicken and stuff all over your floor, you just have to be really clean. And we have, hey, chill, dude. He's definitely on one today. So it's just, there's a lot of risk involved. So from each side, and it's such as social media and such as online content, nobody wants you to believe that there's a happy middle ground. You're either here or you're there, and that's it. And that's such a huge problem with so many things in the world. It's like everyone wants it to be easy and black and white and pick a side, and it's like nothing in life is ever that simple, and that's how you tend to get yourself in trouble more often than not. So what I ended up deciding is I'm going to fall somewhere in between to help round out his diet. So I went and got the catfish, but I cooked it, I steamed it, and then that steam water has a lot of the omega-3s, a lot of those oils kind of get steamed out and they're sitting in that water. So then I take that fishy catfish water and just pour it over his food or pour it into a bowl so it entices him to eat that, and he gets all the nutrients. So I'm going to do the same thing tonight. He's going to get some steamed pork, and any of that pork fatty stuff, he'll get a little of that in that water too. So I'm going to steam his food. It seems to be the way to preserve the proteins as much as possible, as well as the nutrients, as opposed to boiling or frying or cooking in a pan. That direct heat can break down the proteins and make it harder for a dog or a human to digest. So, or it just digests differently. So yeah, I'm going to rely on his kibble to give him everything that he needs from a nutrient standpoint, but I'm going to try to throw a little protein, extra protein his way, some extra omega-3s. I got him some butternut squash, which I'm going to probably steam and then puree and put into freezer cubes. So if he does have a little bit of an upset stomach here and there, then I can give him squash or pumpkin cubes and have those on hand. And yeah, that's kind of what we decided to do to help bulk out his diet a little bit more. Because he is also looking, I guess not too much, but sometimes when he stretches, his little waist is so thin. I'm like, you're wasting away. Why won't you eat your food? And he's literally gaining, like he's gained a pound in like 2 or 3 weeks. He went from 80 to 81. So, and I feel like I think he's just might be getting a little bit taller. So he's like looking more slim, but it feels like he's getting taller again. So I'm just keeping an eye on it. And then I'm also oddly keeping an eye on his poops and making sure that those look healthy, and adjusting accordingly. So if he starts to have any sort of, upset stomach type things going on, then we know to change course, but I haven't been noticing anything different. So, yeah. But I definitely have been learning a lot about Huskies and Malamutes, doing all this research. I know he's the type of dog that would lick himself more often, like his paws and his legs and his belly, and I always thought he was just a weird. But then I thought about it, I'm like, my buddy's Husky Maverick does that a lot too. And they're a dog breed that tends to clean themselves, kind of like cats. So it's not a sign of like skin irritation or them being irritated. They kind of clean like a cat a little bit. And that used to gross me out too, because sometimes, and maybe you don't want to hear about this, but you're gonna, sometimes his poop would have or most times, his poop has his hair in it. And I'd be like, oh, sir, what is your problem? But apparently it's not that uncommon. In fact, it's pretty common. So, but yeah, what else? He is blowing his coat, which has been crazy. And turns out that dogs with double coats, especially Huskies, Malamutes, Arctic dogs, they tend to swap out their puppy coat for their adult coat right around a year old. And I've just been noticing him shedding and blowing his coat so much. Like, I've never seen this much hair come off of him since I've gotten him, and it's been a battle. Keeping the house clean, keeping it off of your clothes and off of the couch. I've been vacuuming up to twice a day now and wiping down countertops. I'm gonna be cleaning out my car finally this weekend. And then I bought some disposable lint rollers and then a couple of those like ones that you rinse, or there's another one that's almost a brush that you have to like, you know, pull the hair off of, just to see what works best for me. But oh my gosh. And I've been brushing him like crazy. Not like crazy as in like hurting him, but I was brushing him once a week, maybe once every week and a half. And now I brush him, well, I've been brushing him every day for the past 3 or 4 days, just a light brushing. I got the majority of the dead hair and loose hair out, and so now we're in maintenance mode. But one word of advice is I was using the Furminator dog brush for him, and they're supposed to be really popular for double coat dogs. He's eating something. I'm not even gonna worry about it. Let's go. Come on. Go, 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 go. So they're supposed to be popular for double coated dogs or double coat dogs, but when I brush him with the Furminator, it would create static. And so the hair would just be sticking. And I do it outside, but it would stick to him. It would stick to my clothes like crazy. It would be in my hair. It would be stuck to the deck. It would just cling to everything. And because it would pull the hairs off and it wouldn't hold them together until I was ready to pull off the hair, flying all over the place. And so, and it never really seemed to it would get a lot of hair out, but I could brush him for like 30 minutes and still just feel like I hadn't made a dent. So I was doing some research, and a lot of groomers don't like the Furminator for double coated dogs because A, it makes more of a mess, and B, they tend to, because sometimes those hairs are longer, like those outer layer hairs, that it will cut the hair, and it can actually cause little, like, not necessarily bald patches, but just unevenness on a coat. Apollo, stay. Stay. Good boy. A little bit of unevenness on the coat because now you're getting some hairs that have been cut short, some that are long, so it just can look a little choppy. And I did notice that a little bit with Apollo, not too much, but I would see short hairs kind of stuck to the Furminator. So the recommendation was to switch to a de-shedding like rake, essentially. So they're longer, kind of snub-nosed pieces that, hey, come over here. Snap out of it. I think we're gonna have to absolutely go to training because he looks very intimidating when he's approaching dogs, but he's more curious. But I could see a dog owner being like, why does that dog look like he's in stalking mode? And I'm like, he's not, he's just cautious. Hey, let's go. Come on. Come on. So yeah. Oh, let's see what happens here. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna stop for a second. Come on. Let's go. No, you're fine. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, yes. I know. You're super jazzed now. Sorry. He got all fired up trying to play with those dogs. Let's go. He got all fired up trying to play with those dogs, and now he's like, let's go! All right, little puppy, let's go. The other thing I want to check is, okay, good. When I tried to do that cross-stitch conversion update video, I zoomed the camera in. I was like, oh my gosh, has it been zoomed in this whole time? But it looks like it reset, so we're good. What was I talking about? Okay, the brushes. So now he has a de-shedding rake from the same brand. It's from Furminator, but it's just these like longer snub-nosed, almost kind of, they're metal like bristles or comb pieces, but they have a little bit of movement to them so they don't like scratch at the dog or have too much pressure. And I tell you what, that thing took out infinitely more. Uh-oh, come on. You're on the wrong side of the fence. Apollo, come on, let's go. Apollo, come on. Come on. Hey, come on. He's got himself stuck. Come here. There you go, you little jerk. That's off limits. Sorry if you had to hear me yelling at him. I don't know why he decides that that's the side that he needs to be on. He's such a... We might have to go extra long today because he's fired up. Anyway, it got out so much more fur than that Furminator did, the one with like the sharp pointy pieces, and it catches it all really well, so I can grab a whole handful of it and stuff it in a trash bag rather than it just flying all over the place. So it's cleaner, it's easier to use. And then a couple of groomers said once you do that to clean up the more stiff hair that's on the surface, because those double coat dogs have that soft like down curly fur underneath, and then on the surface is more rigid kind of coarse hair that repels water and helps to regulate their heat. So they said just take a slicker brush and go over that part, or go over the coat again to remove any of those hairs that are ready to come loose. So that's what we've been doing every day. We take about 20 minutes each day. At first I was doing it outside, but now that we're in maintenance mode and a lot less hair comes out, I can take him inside. And because the hair is not flying everywhere, I can just sit him on the floor and do it. So he doesn't love it, but he doesn't hate it. Like if I give him a treat, he'll sit there and let me mess with him, but he doesn't like the belly and kind of under his legs, like his little leg pits. He doesn't like it, but he doesn't have a ton of double coat under those areas, so I tend to just be gentle. It's mainly his back, his little booty, right where his tail kind of starts, and then his mane on his neck. The amount of hair I pulled from his neck was ungodly. Like almost a full grocery sack of hair I got out of just around his neck. It was shocking. So now when I do it, I don't have those mats and it doesn't catch, like it just kind of glides through, and I don't get a ton of hair, maybe like a quarter of what I was, but it's just endless hair, endless. I'm like, how does your little body hold all of this fluff? Like, where are you keeping it? It's insane. And then I take so much out and I'm like, are you sick? Like, am I just gonna do this until you're bald? But once again, after reading articles, they're like, literally the exact same thing from like groomers and stuff. They're like, you might think that your dog is like some sort of demon hair animal, or that your dog is incredibly sick and losing all of its hair. It's not. It's called blowing their coat, and it'll be extra worse if it's their first time doing it. I'm like, great. So we're just living that life. But yeah, he's my little bud. It's totally worth it. Let's go. Let's go. He needs his nails trimmed though. I'll probably get that done. The place that I take him to go to the self-wash, I'll usually have them trim and grind his nails. But the last couple times I've been going there, it doesn't seem like they're doing a very good job. Even to the point that a couple of his nails didn't look trimmed at all, like they didn't touch those ones. And they have a glass partition, so I watch them while they do it. I don't try to stare, but I'll just walk by and look up to make sure he's not like freaking out, and he just stands there. So I don't know why they're not as thorough. It's not like he's fighting them or getting aggressive with them. He's just kind of standing there. He gets scared, but not, he just stands there. So I might have him start going to a different groomer, maybe like an independent, like that's all they do is groom. It's not like a store. Because he needs them trimmed down a little bit more. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I don't really run him on pavement that much. Like I try to avoid it. And I know that's one of the ways that you can keep an animal's, or that's one of the reasons why some animals' nails will stay down, is because they're hitting up against that concrete or rough surfaces, and that kind of keeps them a little bit more at bay. But I almost always try to either bring Apollo here where it's dirt or grass, or we go to the lake that does have paved portions, but I try to stick to the dirt portions. So he's only on the pavement for maybe half a mile out of the 3 miles or whatever, you know? So I don't know what that is, but his nails, I did take him around the neighborhood for a run yesterday because the snow was starting to come in. And all I heard was clack, 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 clack. It's like, are you kidding? Like, we just took you and got a quote unquote trim and grind like a week and a half ago, and your nails are already clacking. So I'm gonna take him, I think, to an independent groomer tomorrow on my lunch break, because I just don't want him to be uncomfortable, and I don't want his long nails to hinder his running, because I know that can be painful for dogs if their nails are like pushing their paw pads up. So anyway, you're probably like, Anthony, why you're such a psycho about your dog. You are absolutely right. That's my baby. And I would go to the ends of the earth. I just want to make sure that he has a long and healthy life, comfortable, happy, and healthy. So I try to do some research, but I also try to be practical. I don't want to like, I don't know. There's just some animal owners that are like, I want my dog to live the way I live, super cleanly. So I'm going to try to do a vegan diet for my cat. And it's like, okay, well, you're going to kill your cat. Come here. Come on. Come on. So it's like, I want to do right by him in that regard too. Don't go wholly into this like holistic, all natural, raw this, raw that, because it's what you think is right. Trust the scientists, trust the companies who all they want to do is to make sure that your dog leads a happy and healthy life, so you keep buying their stuff and spending more money. But on the flip side, there's companies that will try to make that happen as cheaply as possible. So it's like, okay, the dog's probably going to be happy and healthy and live a decent life, but not optimal, like not peak. And we're going to get it done with a lot of corn and a lot of sorghum and a lot of byproduct meals and stuff. Like we can make it happen, but it's not the best. So I'm like, I want to find a brand and kibble that checks off all the boxes from a safety standpoint and keeping him happy and healthy, but uses as much like good ingredients as possible. So I think carnivore is that for me. I don't think there's any kibble unless I got something that was like not as healthy for him. I'm sure he would love, like, I bet you if I got him like a Kibbles and Bits or like the basic Purina that's like all sorghum and corn, he'd probably love it because it's gonna taste sweet and like just like me. I'm like, oh, Doritos, yes, So I get it, but I'd rather get him to eat this food that's good for him. He eats it. It's not like I'm forcing him. It's just he doesn't like chow down. He's not like, oh my God. He just eats it. And at first, when I first got him, he did do that. He loved it, and because it kind of smells a little bit like peanut butter, but he doesn't do that anymore. Maybe I will, just to, not that I want to feed him like one of those like less expensive brands that focuses more on like corn and stuff, but I'm out of curiosity. I might go get like the smallest bag I can find. Well, my buddy downstairs, that's what he feeds his dog. No hate. Sorry, Scott, I love you. But maybe I should be like, Scott, can I just take a cup of your food and see if Apollo like just goes nuts over this food that I don't want to feed him, I don't feel like doing the long loop today. Let's see how much energy so if we wanted to, we could go there and it'll take us on the long loop. This is kind of a shortcut through here. And honestly, I don't know how much you're seeing right now. It's starting to get dark. And I said, ooh, I'm gonna run the rest of the way, but I can't stop running my mouth. Hi, love bug. Oh yeah, you're very cute. Yeah, you're very cute. Oh, this dog. You are just the best. And see if Apollo goes crazy for that Purina. I think it's like Pro Plan or something like that. Sorry, are we not going fast enough? Let's go. Go. What? What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love you too. I love you too, baby. I can see your breath. It's getting cold. So, yeah, I'd be curious to see if he'd go for it or if it's just his appetite's just different than it was when he was a puppy. But we're doing good. We've come up with a game plan. It seems to be working. He seems to be happy. And so I also don't want to like experiment with him, It's just like find something that works, stick with it, switch up the proteins once in a while so he doesn't develop any sort of like allergy or something to it. Hey, this way. Apollo. Apollo. Hey, come on, let's go. That's too far. Switch up the protein. I think he's on lamb right now. And then I think they've got a venison one. So we might do that next. Is that the same thing? I don't know. We're going to switch the protein. They have a goat one as well. So we'll switch up the proteins. And then I also switch up his little extra snack protein. So like I said, it was catfish last night. Tonight we'll probably either do pork or I also got a piece of steak. So I'll either steam one of those and then I throw a little ground sprouts in there. Maybe some green-lipped mussel. He has that. Some bonito flakes. That's dried fish. So maybe some dried fish flakes. So, I mean, he gets good food, but it's just, I got worried there for a second when he it was just like all of a sudden he went from like, I'd put his bowl down, he'd sit there and I'd have to go stay, and then, okay, get it. And he'd run over and like, nom, like eat all his food. And now I try to do the same thing and he'll sit And I'm like, okay, stay, stay. Put the food down. Okay, get it. And he just sits there and looks at me like, get what? I'm not interested. I'm not hungry. I'm just like, what's happening? So get ready for me to be that kind of dog parrot where like anything changes and I'm like, what's wrong? Oh gosh. I'm definitely a helicopter father. So anyway, it's getting a little dark. It's what? I didn't even start a workout for this, but it's been tracking my calories, so I think it'll be okay. Maybe I'll start it now, that way it counts it as exercise. It's 6:25 p.m. right now, so we've probably got about another 20-30 minutes of daylight before it gets totally dark. Apollo, come here. Can I put on your light? I think he's gonna want to play keep away. It's about that time. Stay. Easy. Easy. Good boy. I just want to put on your light. There you go. I don't know if you can see. Sorry. See his little light? Good boy. Let's go. It like shines like rainbow colors so I can see where he's at. Apollo, come here. Come here. Are you my little light bright? Yeah. So even if I don't bring my headlamp, I'm less concerned about people not seeing me than I am about them not seeing Apollo. So he needs the light more than I do, so I can kind of see my way around. But anyway, so this is kind of the shortcut way. I don't know if we've walked this version before, but you can see these big electrical poles. I'm sure if you go back and watch one of our other dog park videos where I go further out that way, when I turn to face south, you'll see these big poles off in the distance. That's where we are. So it cuts about, I'd say it cuts about 3/4 of a mile off of the 3-mile walk. So, but he gets more exercise out here because it's off leash. Like when we're at the lake, I have to keep him on leash the entire time. So he has to keep pace with me, which means he's walking most of the time. But out here, even though it's the same distance or sometimes even shorter, he will pass out after this because he's running and jumping and yeah, so it's just more stuff. So, and more sniffing, free range sniffing, because I don't really pay attention to what he's going and sniffing at in the fields and stuff. So if he wants to go use his sniffer, which also helps to release energy, that investigation and smelling and sniffing, then it's just it's better exercise for him, and I know that. Is that a person? It's very ominous. They look too small to be a person from this distance. Apollo, stay. Good boy. Easy. Good boy. You did great that time. That was maximum potential for you to bolt, and you didn't. I love you. And these shoes, I feel like I'm just floating over all of this. Not so much that like I feel unstable, but I don't feel the rocks like stabbing me in the heel like I normally do. So let me get past this person, then I'll say my goodbyes to y'all. Hold on. If you can see this, this looks scary. Come on. Say hi. Hello.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Let's go, Stanley.
Let's go. You're okay. No, you're fine.
Let's go.
Go on. Let's go. Oh, I know. You're okay. So yeah, perfect example of like dogs off leash that aren't the friendliest. Just like, yeah, just like try to exercise their dominance on a younger dog or a pup. And so it's one of the reasons why I keep him on a leash when I pass by people, because there's a potential he would bolt away and get scared. He almost always just kind of gets between my legs or tries to stay near me, which is kind of a good thing because it allows that owner to come up and get their dog that's trying to be aggressive. Or I could see him maybe, exerting some sort of defensive mode that I haven't seen before, which is kind of my biggest worry, is that he's gonna feel put up against a wall and want to like bite or nip, But so far, he just kind of cowers and gets between my legs when dogs get aggressive like that. So, but it's just those types of interactions, and maybe it would be different if he was off. I don't know if he was off leash. I don't know if like dogs feel more comfortable being aggressive because Apollo's on a leash. I don't know. I'd be curious to test that. Actually, no, I don't want to. He's such a cutie. Okay, so yeah, diamond painting stuff. I'm still cruising along with Head of Medusa. At the time of filming this, I hit a pretty big confetti section. I'm like, come on, this way. Let's go. I'm to this part right now where it's a big jumble of snakes. Kind of on top of her head. And so it's so much confetti because it's all these different colors of snakes intertwining. So it's taken me forever to even make progress on it. Plus I haven't been diamond painting that much. I think I'm on like day 4 of just trying to get through this one section when I was able to get something that big done in a night. The other thing that has been difficult, challenging sometimes, but how do I say this? So it's a blessing and a curse. That's the right phrase. So I upgraded my tablet to a Chromebook. So I went from seeing 800 squares to seeing 3,200 squares at a time. Now, when you're doing color blocking with minimal confetti, it is a godsend because I can sit there with a single color and just go to town and place 1,000 drills all in one go. But when you get to confetti and you have that much of a pattern revealed, it starts to get confusing because you're like, okay, 1 here and then up 7 over 4, 1, down 2 over 1, and it gets really easy to get confused with your placement. So I made a couple, not critical mistakes, but some pretty significant mistakes in this section where I didn't catch it until I had placed too many drills to peel them all off and start over. So like one whole row is like off by 1, one whole column is like off by 1, or instead of skipping 2 and placing 1, I skipped 1 and placed 1. So now the colors are going to be slightly off there. But the one thing I've noticed that I had to get over with working on a cross stitch conversion and trying to work on one with so much canvas revealed is I can't be a perfectionist like that. Otherwise I won't ever get this kit done. I have to just live with those mistakes and do the best I can to kind of smooth them out. So now what I do, because I also don't want to run out of drills, right? Because now I've accidentally placed colors in the wrong spots. So now what I do is I do the best I can and make sure I'm getting as many right as I can around the area that I messed up. And then when I have to work on that area that I messed up, I'll highlight a color on the pattern, see what I placed there by accident, see if it makes sense to move it or pull it. But most of the time, like let's say I highlight a color and it says you need to have 4 right here. I just make sure that I place 4 of that color in like as close as possible. So I'm trying to, basically what I'm saying is I'm trying to use the same number of drills. They just might not be in the right place. And I'm not saying like all over. I'm talking about like in a 100 by 100 section. So it's not like, it's not crazy. And as long as I can take a step away and it still makes sense, then I'm fine. And the nice thing about this particular kit is the color transitions are very gradual. It's not very abrupt. There's not a lot of hard lines. So it's like the difference between a dark brown and a slightly lighter brown, you know? And there's not really intense, vibrant, poppy colors. It's all neutrals. So your eye does the math for you. And it's really what I found is your eyes and your brain want to make sense of the images and the pieces that they're looking at or what they're looking at. So even if the head of a snake is one square off than it should be, your brain's not going to let you see that unless you try to analyze it, you know? But if you're just standing at a viewing distance and looking at it, there's just no way that you'd be able to tell. So I've let that go, and it's allowed me to go faster through confetti, because I'm just like, you know what? If that dark brown was supposed to go 7 over, and I placed it 9 over, where there was supposed to be a slightly lighter brown, and then I put that lighter brown where that one was supposed to go, no one's gonna know, and I probably won't know once it's all done. So I'm like, you know what? I'm getting a little loosey-goosey with this cross-stitch conversion business, and I don't really care. So anyway, that's my only diamond painting update. That's the only kit I've been working on. So nothing else has been touched, and no updates on kitting up, nothing. It's just been Head of Medusa. I kind of want to just get it done so I can start working on some other whips. So at the time of filming this, I have a month is my goal to finish it. And I'd say I'm about 60%, maybe 65%. So I was hoping to, by the end of March, to have it done. So I think we'll get there, and I'm being less picky and less of a perfectionist and just kind of rolling with it. Going forward, I probably won't reveal that much of the canvas on my tablet or on my Chromebook as much if it's confetti heavy, because it just gets confusing. I'll probably do half that. I'll probably do 1600 revealed and work on that. So it's still twice as much as I was doing with my smaller tablet, but much more manageable. So yeah, we're probably about half a mile from being done with the hike. If I turn right here, you can't see, I'm sure, but if I was to turn here, there's another path. But rather than you just looking at darkness and a blinking Apollo, I'm gonna let you go. I really appreciate you watching this video. This is kind of the new format. This will be the norm as opposed to the exception. And anything else as far as whip and chats or cross-stitch conversion updates, or more like only diamond painting at the table specific videos, I'm trying to crystal ball and just say that they're going to be more sparse, because my lifestyle and what I'm investing my time in is changing, and the content will reflect that. So, but I hope to still have you around. I hope to still keep you company. You're still going to see finishes. You're still going to see unboxings, kitting up, all that stuff. But I'm just sneaking diamond painting in when I can. And eventually unboxings will slow down too. That's not for a long while, so don't freak out about that. I've got enough kits to get us into 2024. So don't worry about that. Once a week, every Tuesday, you should be seeing them. And then from there, who knows? But yeah, don't worry about that. I still can't stop buying them, apparently. But yeah, I've just been, when I dive in paint, it's just like sit down, grab that tray, and just go. Like I'm not like, okay, set up the camera and make sure angles are right. I'm just like down and dirty, let's get this done. So I can get back outside and chat with everybody. Oh, goodness. I was even thinking of changing my channel. It says right now a diamond painting channel. I'm like, is it? Is that what's happening? Because it doesn't feel like it. So I might remove that and it'll just be single and placing. I don't know. Maybe I don't need to be in my head so much about it. But all right, well, we're coming up to where I should clip up Apollo before we have to play chase. So I really am gonna let you go. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content with friends, family members, anyone that you think might take some value out of this content. Otherwise, happy placing, and we'll see you next time. Come here, come say bye. Oh, thank you. Oh, you did great. Let me clip you up. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. I was worried you were gonna be very misbehaved. Oh, and kisses. And kisses. Oh, you're gonna make me cry. You're so cute. Okay, bye everyone. Bye. Okay.